Hi, I'm Luke with Arrowhead Sporting Goods. Today I'm going to put together a quick informational video on full form sizing with the Swing Lock full form sizing die. Full form sizing, I think, sounds intimidating to people when they're first starting out, but after this quick video you'll see that it's really a simple process. So here are the tools we'll use today for sizing. First, we've got a Rock Chucker Supreme press, very heavy duty, works well. Any heavy duty reloading press will work. We've already got the Swing Lock full form sizing die installed. You can see the punch slides right into the ram, and then on top here we'll zoom in and get a look at the index marks for when we adjust the die for a specific bullet. You can see the graduations. The L is for larger, which means a larger diameter bullet will create more resistance going down the bore, and small means smaller bullet, less resistance going down the bore. There's no set size for a bullet barrel combination. Every die is a little different, every barrel is a little different. So, but that's the beauty of the adjustable die. You just dial it in to your particular bullet and barrel combination. Moving on, we've got the hex key for adjusting the die. Going back here, you can see where it fits right into the die. Very easy to adjust. Next, I use Lyman Alox bullet lube for the lubricant on the bullets. It works well. Any wax-based lubricant will work. Here we've got the ramrod with a spin jag match hunter loading jag installed. We're also going to use the polymer bore guide to protect the muzzle on our barrel. No witness mark on the ramrod today because we're only pushing bullets through an uninstalled barrel, but always use a witness mark when you're shooting for real. We've got a couple of permanent markers here, one with a fine tip and one with a heavier tip we'll use for marking the bullets. Some 91% isopropyl alcohol with a couple of paper towels I'll use for cleaning off the sizing lubricant. Here we've got the bullets we'll be using today for sizing. They're 310 grain, 458 caliber match hunter bullets, high BC and very accurate out to long range. We won't use them for sizing today, but as a tip to save you a few bucks, I like to use a Hornady 458 caliber 300 grain hollow point to get my die and scope close on a new gun. No, they're not a long range bullet, but like I said, they'll get you close at 100 yards and you can work on your technique without breaking the bank. And then lastly, a pocket knife I'll use to scribe the base of the bullet if I'm going to index the bullet in the barrel. So before we get started, a couple of things that are really going to help you with full form sizing, or smooth sizing for that matter, is having a very firm, solid table. You want something heavy duty that's not going to flex when you're pushing the bullets through the die. A loose table, and it can, even an easy sizing bullet can seem almost impossible to get through the die. If for some reason you encounter a bullet that's stuck in your die or really hard to push through, you can screw the die out part of the way. That gets your ram up into more of the power stroke, more leverage, and you can get that bullet part way through the die. That way, then just work the die down in and get that stubborn bullet through. This match hunter bullet we're using, it's got a 28 thousandths jacket. It's pretty easy to size, and the bearing surface is fairly short. Bullets with a heavier jacket or a longer bearing surface can be more stubborn, or all copper bullets can be really stubborn. Annealing is usually a good thing to do with all copper bullets, and they push through the die relatively easy. So with that, we'll get started. The first step when you're starting out is to take that fine tip permanent marker and draw a fine line perpendicular to the base down the side of the bullet. We'll use that mark. First, I guess I almost skipped a step. We'll take some lube, just put a little bit on my finger, wipe it around the bearing surface of the bullet. Doesn't take much. This tube is, I've been using this same tube for 2 years now. I've hardly used any of it. It'll probably last me most of my life at the rate I'm going through it. Once you got the bullet lubed and that mark on there, you take that mark, and I've got a mark on the base of the die. So I line that mark on the bullet up with the base of the die, that reference mark I've got there. Going in straight. Push it on through. Not much to that. At this point, usually when I'm starting out with a new die and a new barrel, I'll usually just start at 0 on the die. More than likely, that bullet's still going to be too big to fit into the barrel. I'll check, and if it starts and feels like it's going to go, which probably won't happen, I'll push it on through to see how it fits. More than likely, it won't even start, so I'll take the adjustment key and tighten that die up. Usually, I go 3 or 4 clicks at a time. If I feel like if I've got a long ways to go, I might even go as many as 8. Really, it's up to you how fast you want to go. This is a great time to use that Hornady hollow point when you're getting your die close, so you don't have to worry about maybe misaligning a bullet and having to toss a $2 bullet. So once I've made that adjustment, I'll come back to the die. I've still got that reference mark on the side of the bullet. Line it back up. See how much easier that went through the second time, because I'm not really engraving the bullet anymore, since that step was taken care of the first time the bullet was pushed through. At this point, I already know this die is set up right, so I won't go through that process anymore, but I think it's clear. That's an iterative process you do. It might take you 3 or 4 times through the die to get it close to where you want it. Once I've reached that point, this step is optional, depending on your barrel and how anal you want to get, but I take the pocket knife and make a mark using the reference mark on the side of the bullet. I make a mark on a land. I do it to the same land every time. It doesn't matter which land, as long as you're consistent. I do that because the next step, I'm going to clean the sizing lube off of the bullet, and that takes away the permanent marker on the side of the bullet too. So if I want to index my bullet to the barrel, I need that permanent mark on the base. At this point, I'll take the heavier tip permanent marker and mark one of the lands on the bullet. Technically, you could just use that permanent mark on the base of the bullet from the pocket knife, but that's hard to spot if you're trying to load in a hurry. A nice heavy mark with a permanent marker on the side is real easy to spot. The reason I do this, and I say it's optional, is some barrels, there's 8 lands in this particular barrel. Potentially each land could load with a different resistance. If that's the case with your barrel, every barrel's different. You'll just have to find out with your barrel. You'll want to load to the same land every time, because really, to get the best accuracy, I found that it's pivotal to have the same loading pressure shot to shot. Some barrels don't require it, some do. But anyway, that's how you do it if you need to do it with your barrel. So once I've got the bullet size, the lube washed off, take the bullet to the barrel, and it's just a little twist until you feel it click in. There you have the bullet started. You see it's snug. This is really about how I like it, where you gotta put your arm into it, but you're not having to hammer it down or feel like you're going to give yourself a hernia. It just slides down nice and firm. It's going to be snug on the powder. You know you're going to get good consistent ignition. And there you go. So that was full form sizing. Smooth sizing, it's really similar, except you don't have to worry about lining up a bullet if you want to push it through the second time. Because it's smooth, it's just going down on top of the rifling. The rifling isn't pre-engraved onto the bullet, it's just riding on top of the lands. Some guns you want to use a veggie wad for that to help with the seal, but the adjustments are exactly the same on the smooth die. And there you have it with full form sizing. So there you have it, that's full form sizing. Really the hardest part is getting the size set on your die. Once you've got that, it's as simple as pushing the bolt, lubing the bullet, pushing it through, cleaning the lube off, and shooting. Smooth sizing, very similar. The adjustments on the die are identical. The only difference is if you need to push a bullet through a second time, you don't have to worry about lining the bullet up a particular way. Even with smooth sizing, same thing I do with full form. I do like to push the bullet through 2 or 3 times. I found that the fit is more consistent bullet to bullet if I've pushed the bullet through the die multiple times. Other than that, just get out there and shoot and figure it out. The best way to get good at it is time on the range, and be safe out there.